Hello. We're just gonna get right into it. I'm eating breakfast right now, and I thought that I toasted my bagel twice, but I think I forgot to toast it that second time. So I live alone, so like if I get something like bagels, I'm getting like a package that has 6 bagels in it. Except I'm one person, and I have to like they expire within a week. So I've started freezing my bread and things like that. And so yeah, I gotta toast shit twice. And also, it's just like, it takes a lot of work to split open a frozen bagel because I guess water is getting in the bag somehow and that water is freezing and like, breaking up ice, especially when bread is involved, is just like not the easiest task. Um, and I end up looking like King Arthur trying to get the sword out, or trying to get Excalibur out of the rock. Um, Yeah, except it's me with like a bread knife, with the bread knife like fully plunged into the bagel, and I'm just like trying to split them apart. Except I have the added task of also splitting open the bagel. So King Arthur had it easy. Anyway, I'm sort of eating breakfast. It's like, it's 12:30. So I guess I'm eating lunch. Um, and yeah, I'm going to the mall today. And I haven't done that in a really long time. And I'm excited. I've been shopping online basically exclusively for a very long time. And it's not a bad thing, but what ends up happening is like I don't take any risks with what's in my wardrobe. I just get like the basics over and over and over again because I'm too afraid to, try something that I'm not sure will fit me right or whatever. Um, and I just want a couple more fun things. Like it's spring. I get it now. I get why spring is such a big deal. Cause like where I grew up, winter doesn't last. It's like it gets a little colder and then we get cold fronts sometimes. Um, but here it's like sub 20 degrees for 5 days straight, and then sub 30 degrees for um, hold on. Hi, Monday. My cat just jumped up here. I think she wants the salmon that's on. Babe? Okay. Well, do you want some salmon? You can take some salmon. Wow, she really said, okay. I I don't know what's happening here. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I want to go to the mall and like, oh, spring. Anyway, I get it now. It's getting warmer and I'm feeling happier, and the days are getting longer. Um, yeah, so I want to find some spring shirts. Some knot turtlenecks, some knot crew necks, some knot sweaters. So yeah, that's gonna be my day. I'm doing that later though. And so like I should be getting dressed, but I have to eat. And if I'm gonna eat, I might as well play Tetris and pretend like somebody's here at the same time. No. And what else? So like this morning, I finally watched Taylor Tomlinson's stand-up. That's like the newest one on Netflix. I already forgot what I think it was called. Look at You. Um, and it was really good. Oh my god, I love her so much. She's just like, I love it. I love the way that she talks about like dating. I love the way that I don't know, she's just very good at talking about what it is to be um in your 20s as a woman in America. And I don't know. She's great at it, and that's a rare thing. Um And then also she's just really great at talking about mental health. She's fucking hilarious. And she talked about therapy a lot, which I loved. And like I so wish I went and saw her. I think the show that I really wanted to go to, I think I talked about it on here too, where I was like, I really want to go to this, but I'm feeling so anxious right now and I don't want to park in Boston. Like, I don't have it in me to do it right now. I can't do it. Anyway, that night, they fucking shot the show for Netflix. They shot it at the Wilbur. And then in the credits, they have a camera going outside where the line is. And I was like, I could have been stamped into eternity. And I fucking missed my shot. This hurts. That would have been irrefutable evidence that I am indeed alive and like a person. And when I'm going through one of my existential crises, I could literally just like open that up, fast forward to the credits and be like, look, there's me. There's proof. Stop panicking. Shut the fuck up. But, you know. I very weirdly and very conveniently missed that opportunity. So maybe I'm not here. I don't know what I'm trying to get at. But anyway, yeah, she's really good at talking about therapy and all that good shit. And yeah, you should definitely watch. And how is my anxiety going? I'm glad you asked. If you watched my last video, I literally cry while playing a game of Tetris, and that's it. So you might be looking at my line that says therapy. It really works. I'm really wondering what I mean by that. Here's the thing. That is totally up to viewer interpretation why I did that. I'm an artist. But also, like, even if I am doing okay, I'm gonna fucking cry for 8 minutes. Or 45 minutes. And I don't know. It's just gonna take work. But in general, I feel better because I can identify things now, and it's fascinating. I mean, I think I'm exceptionally not analytical. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, introspective. Like, I can think about what's going on in my head all goddamn day long. And I don't mean that like you know, it's in an annoying way. Like, I'm fucking recording myself talking to myself. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I'm very annoying about this idea. But I've been doing it all of my life, and there's a reason why I am like that, and the reason is basically that I needed an escape, and the only escape that I had was my head. And because of it, my imagination runs wild, and anyway, I don't want to get too much into that, but I can now, like being self-aware is not enough if you don't know what to do with that information that you have. So, for instance, of course I know that I'm anxious, and of course, like, I have identified the different ways in which my anxiety pops up. Like, I get obsessive about furniture and about clothes, and I also, I don't know, I recognized some of those, but then it hit me. Like, there was one day where I was doing it, and I get super like, organizational to the point of mania about money. And I've been doing this since I was about 19 years old, because that's when I started working in jewelry. And when you work in a business where you're making commission, you're just constantly doing that. You are constantly thinking about, like, if I make this sale, then that adds $35 to my paycheck, but then take away the taxes, and then this is actually what my take home is going to be. Or you're calculating two different things, because you're like, well, if this sale made it on this day, then on this paycheck I should be making that. But if it didn't make it on this day, then this paycheck I'm making that. But then the next paycheck I'm ahead this much. It's like never ending, and it's awful. And I applied that to, like, my long-term financial I don't know, not needs, expenses, like, but long term, because I was a student. So I was like, okay, if I keep making this bi-weekly and I add another job and I start making this much from this job and then I start tutoring on the side, I can start making this much, and then in 7 months I will be able to afford my last class. And it's like you're thinking about 7 months from now all of the time in terms of money, based on what you're making in the moment. And I was doing that for so long, and I was doing it so obsessively, I didn't realize that I never got out of it. And after I graduated, I had a pretty good paying job, and I moved out, and then 6 months into having that good paying job, I was told that essentially they lost funding, and then they thought they got the funding to keep me on, and then on the first day of what would have been the new contract, they were like, something went wrong and we can't pay you. They were able to keep me on part-time a little after that, but yeah, I was out of a job very quickly. This kick-started my breakdown. Many other things were happening to me at the same time, but this one changed everything because A, where the fuck is my money coming from? And B, I suddenly have so much time on my hands to be with myself. And before that, I was a full-time student with 3 jobs, and I was doing undergraduate research. So like before that, there was not one half hour of my life that wasn't planned throughout the week. Suddenly, it's a terrifying time. But anyway, here's the thing, like, I know that that was a bad time for me, but now I can look at it in just one aspect, and this one aspect is in this money aspect, because when that happened, I became very poor very fast. I went back to working in jewelry, and I was also a tutor, and I was working part-time, both jobs, and I was fucking poor, and I was working all the time. But because I was in commission, and because, like, I was still just always calculating, always. And at that point, it was like, can I fit a frozen pizza into the budget? Can I fit this frozen pizza that I like into the budget? Can I get vegetables for that frozen pizza? It was constantly calculating, and things got better, sort of. And then in the process of moving, I was still calculating my major expenses and my big expenses, and I couldn't really relax in that. And now, I'm still not completely out of the water, but it's finally settling down. But my mind is still going. And there were 2 major realizations. The first was that no amount of thinking is actually doing anything, because I'm not actually trying to solve a problem. I'm just calculating and recalculating over and over and over again, and I'm not like changing my calculations. I'm just going over it over and over and over again. I get paid this much on this day, and I'm going to pay my bills, and then I'm going to have this much, and then I'm going to get paid this much, and I'm going to have this much, and I'm going to have that much afterwards. But just over and over and over again. And it's the same process of like when I'm looking at clothes and I'm doing it for hours and hours and hours, and I'm like, I can get this piece because I've been wanting this piece, and if I get that piece, I might as well get this piece so I have something that matches. And if I do that, I might as well find another $8 item so that way I can get free shipping. But if I do, but I can't find an $8 item that I like. So I should try to find, well, I'm literally like going through it right now. Because if I don't find an $8 item, I want the $24 item, then I'm like $16 away from 20% off. So I might as well. It's so easy for me to sink into this mindset. Anyway, because I also find it oddly comforting. It's an escape for me. And that's what I'm understanding now. It's like if I'm stressed financially, I find comfort in calculating it. Because it's easy for me to get lost in it, and it's easy for me to ignore the grand problem. And the grand problem is I'm poor. And at the time, the grand problem was I don't make enough. There's no amount of calculating that's going to get me any extra money. I don't make enough money. That's the problem. And staying isn't going to help my problem. Staying in my situation is not going to help my problem. A 50-cent raise in 7 months is not going to help my problem. So, anyway, I'm getting very off track. Okay, I said I made 2 big realizations. The first is that it's in my head and that it's not solving anything. It's not changing the amount that's coming in and it's not changing the amount that's going out. But the second very big revelation is that I struggle with recognizing time in some ways. It used to be really, really bad when I had my breakdown. It was very bad. I could not see, even a month into the future. I couldn't do it. And yeah, it's a very weird mindset to be in. And now it's not that bad, but financially, at least, I struggle with that. I struggle with remembering in 2 weeks, it's going to be the same thing. In 2 weeks, it's going to happen again. It's not like a one-time deal where you're getting paid once. I hope that made some sense. It's like, it's not going to be 1 week I'm okay and I'm floating and another week I'm not going to be okay. It's not like that anymore. And I can chill. And even now, like, I'm feeling a tightness in my chest as I talk about this because I'm remembering what it used to feel like. But, like, the point is with therapy, it's cool that I can recognize it in this way and then say, like, hey, like, I don't have to do this anymore. I'm good now. I had this, like, revelation where I realized that, like, yeah, maybe I'm still struggling financially a little bit, but I just made a big move. Like, that makes sense. But the other thing is that, well, I also live alone and I'm the one paying all of my bills, so I'm not doing anything wrong with my finances. It's just that, like, paying all your own shit is expensive. But also, like, my car needed a new part and I was able to just pay for it, and I didn't, and I was okay. And, like, my apartment is so much nicer than the one that I was living in before. It's so much nicer, It's everything that I ever wanted for myself, and I did it. And something in me still can't chill. It's like, hey, you're still not doing enough. You're still not ahead. You're still not, and it's like, yeah, but it's not what it was. And no amount of calculating over and over and over and over and over again is going to put more money in my savings. That's not how this works. And it's going to take time. But in the meantime, we're okay. It's very cool to feel that go away. It's very cool because now I recognize it when it starts happening, and I can just I can see it now. And I'm like, no, but we're good. And then it goes away. And I can think about other things. It's really cool. And I'm slowly letting go of all of these things. But with that recognition that, like, hey, like, you're going to get it again in 2 weeks. It's okay. Like, I've also recognized that I have a problem with this sense of urgency. Like, I have to do this now. It has to be now. I have to go to this coffee shop now. I have to go to Boston on Saturday because I work during the week and I can only do it on Saturday. And then it's like, you have so many other Saturdays. It's okay. You can chill. You don't have to keep trying to make the most out of every single weekend. You can do other things. You can just go to the mall. And it's so crazy how freeing that is. That, like, the sense of urgency is I'm recognizing it. It's not entirely gone, but it's helping me with my fear of missing out, and it's helping me with coping when somebody, like, cancels their plans on me, or, like, because it's okay. Like, there's another day. It does not have to be today. And so that idea, this sense of urgency, is tied in with other problems that I have. But because I'm able to like decipher them in this way, it's getting easier to untangle everything and just see what's happening in my mind and why things are happening. And when I'm getting rid of all of the smaller ones, and eventually I think that's going to help me tackle the bigger things that I am afraid to tackle, because all of these other little things got in the way for me. I really hope all of that made sense. If it didn't make sense, go to therapy and they'll break it down for you. But my point is, I really wish I hadn't waited that long to go to therapy and see this. I even felt it after therapy yesterday. I caught it and I was like, hey, it's you. Like after my session, I was trying to sort of tackle a bigger thing that I mentioned to her, and she was like, it's not gonna happen today. Like too many things are getting in the way. And I was like, oh, you're right. And my shoulders were in such pain, and now I recognize that as like a physical like anxiety trigger. And it's so bizarre. No, fuck. Oh, why did I do that? I think I got confused. My shoulders hurt, and that comes out when something stressful is happening that I don't know how to talk about it. And she mentioned like, maybe you could try this, and I was like, I'm thinking about trying that, and my mind is blank. And like my mind is so blank, I can't like. And she was like, that's a protector, like that's a thing. And I was like, what? Like, are you shitting me? Like, this is why I can't talk when people are upset, or when people are like, if somebody's mad at me, I truly can't talk. It's like that feeling in your throat and you feel like you're gonna cry. And she's like, no, like that's your body shutting you down. And I was like, what the fuck? And that's very eye-opening. And she was like, yeah, we need to figure out why this is happening and see if we can get it to step back and be like, we're good. Like, I was gonna say something. Oh, okay. So like after the session, I was like, man, I gotta go straight into a video right now while it's fresh in my mind. I gotta do it. And then I realized, like, that's not me. That's a part. This is that sense of urgency. I know you. And then I didn't. I just made dinner, and then I watched interviews of the Batman cast. Speaking of the Batman cast, I saw the Batman, and I loved it. This was the very first movie in all of my life that made me appreciate Batman as a character. Finally. I never understood it. I was like, yeah, he's rich and his parents died. Like, that's sad, but I don't understand why people are so fascinated with this character. Yeah, and this movie, it finally did it. It finally did it for me. And I'm pleased to report that I will be watching the other Batman because of it. The one that I most remember, I don't know if it's one of the Tim Burton ones or both of them. I don't know. But I just remember there's this scene. No, fucking hell. I think I just lost. Man, I had a good run. Balls. It's already 24 minutes. I was just gonna say, I've only seen that one, and when I was a kid, I was watching it with my dad, and there was, I think it's Michelle Pfeiffer who plays her, but it's before she's actually Catwoman, and there's this scene where like the light is on her face and the frames from her glasses make it look like she's wearing a mask like that. And my dad was like, look at her face, it's her mask. And I was like, whoa, cinema. Like I was a kid. I don't know, that was very eye-opening. That was the one thing that I caught when watching this one. There is a scene where they reference that, and I was straight up Leonardo DiCaprio in that recliner, like, hey. So that was cool. But yeah, that I want to rewatch the Tim Burton Batman first, I feel, and then I really want to watch Christopher Nolan's Batman, because I haven't, because Heath Ledger scared me that badly. Like I try sometimes and I'm so fucking scared. But then yeah, the show The Batman was great. That one holds a nostalgic place in my heart. I wrote I Am the Shadows because of the Batman, and also I love Rob Pattinson so much. I have so much respect for him. But I like low key want I Am the Shadows tattooed somewhere on my body. I'm not gonna do it, but like if I had the gall, I would. High Fidelity. Hulu fucked up not giving that a second season. Zoe Kravitz is amazing, and now she's Catwoman, and I guess that's it. I'm gonna go to the mall now. Today. Okay. Have a good day. Okay, bye.